episode of Let's Talk Natural Medicine is brought to you by Bioglan, proud platinum partners of ATMS. For over 40 years, Bioglan has delivered innovative, high-quality vitamins, supplements and superfoods, helping Australians live healthier lives. Find Bioglan at your local pharmacy today. Welcome back to episode 6, Let's Talk Natural Medicine, brought to you by the Australian Traditional Medicine Society. I'm your host, Natalie Hume, and today we're focusing on something many of us struggle with, stiffness and poor posture. Here's an interesting fact to consider. Bad posture not only affects physical health, but can also impact our mood and energy levels. To help us explore natural ways to improve posture and mobility, we're joined by Donna Eddy, a specialist in posture and mobility. Donna is an acupuncturist, remedial massage, and stretch therapist. Donna, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Nat. Thanks for having me. Very excited to be here.
Excellent. I definitely need help in this area, so can't wait to hear what you say. So let's get started with, can you explain why posture and mobility are so important for our overall health and our daily well-being?
Absolutely. I'll start with the posture part. I'll answer that in two parts. So to give you a phrase to leave with, or just something to hang the thoughts on, because we'll cover a bit here today, is posture, if you think about it, as structural integrity. You want to be minimizing your wear, which inevitably leads to dysfunction. So when you're looking at your posture and alignment, we want to talk about things that are in ideal alignment for what you're doing to minimize that wear and tear. I say to clients all the time, we get gray hair and wrinkles, we age, we grow, we peak, we decline, and we decline a lot quicker than we realize. But we also then have our day-to-day lifestyle choices or our vocational requirements. And the body's really good at helping you be efficient at what you do. So it's an efficiency machine. So if you're sitting all the time, it says, oh, okay, let's get really good at sitting. So then sitting is your normal posture, whatever that is. So we want to be making sure that we look at what we're doing, we're catching ourselves, and I can wholeheartedly put my hand up. I get onto the technology and I'm focusing forward. Our eyes are in front. We focus forward. So we lean in, we zoom in, and we're stuck in poor postures. And I teach it, I recommend it, I do all the good things, but get on that tech and we get into that posture. We've also got gravity that's pulling us down towards the ground. So we actually get innovated to maintain our ability to protect ourselves and to feed ourselves. So we flex, and we are dominant in that flexed posture for those two reasons. So there's that aspect, as well as gravity pulling us in that direction, focusing forward, leaning forward, and sitting all the time. Excuse me. So neurologically, that's kind of looking at things structurally, but neurologically, we need our spinal alignment ideal so that all the nerves can exit where they're meant to freely, because that's your communication highway. If there's any compression, if there's any tension, even if there's stress tension, whatever that's inhibiting the nerves, then that's going to affect the function that nerve feeds, and that could be anything throughout the whole body. So posture, it's structural, it's neural, and we can argue that it's vocational, and we need to be really mindful of what we're doing day to day, because we get good at what we do all the time. The second part to this would be the mobility. So the way I explain it to patients is, if you have your joints free to move, you've got good mobility through the joints, they're moving through their full capacity, that's ideal, because then the body's efficient and you're not wasting energy. When things are tight and then they get them released, they can feel that difference, that freedom of movement. So I call that taking the handbrake off. If you've got a car and you're trying to push it through mud, it's a lot of effort. If you've got the car and you have to push it down the road, it moves a lot easier. Same concept, idea. I use the car analogy quite a lot in my clinic, in that we're just free to move. It takes the pressure off. The muscles don't have to work and strain so hard to move you, and then you're not as fatigued and tired by the end of the day. So effortless action, efficient and effective movement, and To go back to the car analogy, the other one I use is if the car needs a wheel alignment, you go and give it an alignment so you don't have to replace your tyres. If you ignore that and you don't, then you have to go replace your tyres. We can replace joints if they're really extremely damaged, but most people don't want to. And even surgeons nowadays are really pushing and delaying because they know the body's never the same if a joint capsule's been opened. So, you know, think of it like your car. We service our car. You should be servicing your body and just checking in, because it's such an efficiency machine. You don't realise the compensations and the adaptions that it's done automatically, thinking it's doing the right thing for you. And in the short term, it is, but in the long term, that's when problems arise, and that's when things have to be unravelled and realigned. So combination, both the posture and the mobility go hand in hand, absolutely.
Amazing. And it's just so, I love the car analogy. It helps us to make sure, as you said, we're looking after our bodies as well, because we always look after our cars, right? So we need to look after ourselves in the same manner. And so this brings me to, like, how did you first become interested in posture and mobility as well? And what inspired you to focus on more the natural approaches?
Oh, it's actually been lifelong. I won't give you a blow-by-blow story because I'm 50 years in. I started with some, premature birth and some developmental things. Kidneys weren't developed, so there was a lot of things going on when I was really young. That turned into I had epilepsy for a while, cleared that up, and then was told I was developmentally delayed, wouldn't be able to go to normal school, and all sorts of things. And my mum just went, nope, not having a bar of that. She's going to progress like her siblings. And I did. And that was through movement. So movement's been my life. My grandfather made a balance beam. I'm showing my age, even though I've already announced it. Physical culture was a thing back in the 70s. And so I went to physical culture for posture, for alignment. Apparently I kept falling over. And I just kept on that journey. Movement is my life, my passion. It's what I'm here to help other people with, because I've gone on a huge journey with it. Fast forward to my early 20s, I did 2 discs in my lower back, and that's what pushed me into becoming the therapist. I never had any plans to be the therapist, but again, absolutely what I'm here to do and what I love doing. So it's been a constant road of self-refinement, and that's turned into helping others, getting people off that patient merry-go-round, because I was that patient for 3.5 years with serious sciatic pain, constant back pain, couldn't sit for more than 10 minutes. I've been there. I know what it's like, and you can heal from things, and it takes a lot of consistent work and persistence on your part, and finding the right combination of both therapist and methods and movement that fits your body, your history, and also your lifestyle and your vocation.
Wow, you were brought into this at such a young age. So that's such a lovely story to hear as well. And then let's talk about some common stiffness, poor posture. What are some daily habits that contribute to these issues, but how can we counteract them as well?
Absolutely. Just move that across. Inactivity is the big one. It's kind of alluding to that in that first question. And most people are kind of like, yeah. But if you just step back and take a good, honest, hard look at your lifespan, most people listening to this are middle-aged, getting into the older years. I'm not expecting us to have too many teenagers on this podcast, although I would love to have that be a fact. So most of you, if you look at your lifespan, you'll see that, watch kids, they run, they don't walk, they don't know how to walk. And from Chinese medicine point of view, they're vibrant, they're growing, they've got all this energy to expand, and they need that energy for growth. But they're exuberant, they're juvenescent, they're full of joy and life. Part of it is conditioning, what we're introduced to, what our family shows us as normal. Are we active? Are we not? Those patterns get put into our system. We have injury histories that then can change and wear on the body and wear on the psychology for people as well. And just our automated sedentary work. Everything's, so fast-paced but automated. We outsource everything. We don't even vacuum our own homes anymore. So think about all the things you don't do. Think about the way people used to live, and maybe live a life that's a little bit less convenient and actually do some things manually, because we're losing that completely. And we get good at what we do. Sit in front of a screen, sit and do our work, sit to get to work, sit to get home, and then sit to recover from all the sitting we've done. Where it's just inactivity is number one. Imbalances I mentioned with any injuries or structural things. Going down for the naturopaths and things that are listening, magnesium, you'd all be putting hands up, but there's other things going on. Absolutely, 100%. Our nutrition, our diet, is our body absorbing it? Linking back to the spine, if the nerves are not feeding things out, then the organs aren't working properly, the endocrine system's not working properly. So then you've got all this sort of thing happening where the body will get stiff and tight because it doesn't have the right nutrition. The extremes of that is something like the scleroderma, which I think it's called stiff person's syndrome, and that's a hardening of the tissues, and they literally become mummified at an extreme level. So it's rare, but it's, it can be something that's functionally going on in the physiology rather than just our lifestyle. We can work on those sort of things, but lifestyle is one that we can do. It's usually free. Put the automated vac away and vacuum and sweep yourself. Get the leaf blower, throw it away and sweep instead of doing things the easy way, because it's just adding to our inactivity. So, you look at it from the physical level, what you do and don't do. You look at the structure, how you were born. Do you have any imbalances, injury history? You've got the chemical, physiological, nutrition aspect. And then, somatics, we hold on to stuff. We have events that impact us and we hold on to that, and that affects our ability or our willingness to move as well. So many causes, but the number one that we can fix really easy is how much we move.
This episode of Let's Talk Natural Medicine is brought to you by BioGlan, proud platinum partners of ATMS. BioGlan is your go-to pharmacy-only provider of high-quality vitamins, supplements, and superfoods. Their commitment to innovation and unique formulations has earned them a reputation for excellence in supporting health and wellness. Together, we're building a stronger, healthier future for natural medicine. Thank you, BioGlan, for your partnership and support. I love that you said how much we can move. Now I want you to show us a few practical exercises or stretches that listeners can do at home to improve our flexibility and our posture.
Absolutely. This is the best bit. So two sayings: mobility in the morning. Think about movement as breakfast for your body. So mobility in the morning, and then elongate in the evening and stretch and release in the evening. So something simple you can do. I'm sitting at the desk, I'm sitting down, is get out of the chair. And I know I'm going to, move around and disappear, but those that have been on webinars with me before know what I'm like. So just through shoulders, you get out of your chair, interlace your hands, pinch the shoulder blades together and give yourself a little stretch. You can do that as you're walking to the bathroom. You can do that if you've got a phone call and you stand up instead of just sitting and talking and stay in that same posture. Moving your neck. Your neck is meant to move in all directions, and everyone laughs when I play with this one, but most people don't have that side movement. Side bending is quite tight and tense. But if we think about moving from the joint, that's what the joint mobility base is. If I just flop my head over and give my neck a stretch, yes, I'm moving the joints, but I'm focusing on the soft tissues. If I actually focus on moving the joints and move a little bit slower, I can actually get juice into the joints. The only way the synovial fluid in the joints gets moved around is through movement. So we want to nourish our joints. That's why I call it breakfast for the body. Moving in one plane. So a lot of our day is we reach and we bend at the same time. So just do the side bending. Using a wall is really, really handy. Stand up against the wall. Are you in alignment? How hard is it to stay there? And then move. Just do side bending from there. Stay still and just rotate. Does your head stay on the wall? There's so many things that you can be playing with that are very basic and simple, don't cost anything. Hands, we're grabbing and doing things. One of the great ones to do is you pull the fingers back. You then bend the wrist back while still pulling the fingers back, and then you extend the arm out. That's a great one to do anytime you've carried the shopping, you've done anything out of the ordinary, or getting your hands onto your chair and getting out of your chair so you're standing up and just giving everything a little stretch, because we're always grabbing, repeating the actions and not thinking about unwinding that. So then the stretch aspect is looking at the soft tissue, and you'll go into a position, feel it pull, and hang there. Take a breath. Can you go further in the direction you were just moving? Hang there. Can you go even further again? Then you come out of it slowly, usually in a different way to how you got into it, so you're not using the muscles you've got out, you've stretched to get out of the stretch. So don't time them. Go by how they feel and go by how much you move. You're wanting to lengthen the tissues. So spend some time and, unwind the body, be in the body, and that helps you unwind from your day. So that's why I say elongate in the evening. Get into your body, get out of your head, give it a bit of a stretch. You're more relaxed. You lay on the pillow in a more relaxed state, and you're more than likely going to get a better sleep.
Awesome. I hope everybody's doing those stretches at home or wherever you're listening. Maybe not while you're driving. If you are listening while you're driving,
yes,
thank you for that. So let's jump into our fact or fiction segment. I'm going to share a common belief maybe about posture and flexibility. And can you tell us if it's fact or fiction? Good posture means keeping your back perfectly straight all the time.
Ooh, good one. Well, let's be a little bit controversial. It's both.
Okay, fact. I like
it. Yeah. Fact, but a relative fact. So remember at the start, we talked about ideal posture. So for the nervous system, yes, we want straight, which means our spine has its normal curves. So it depends on what people are picturing when they hear the word straight. So I'd like to say aligned and then ideal positioning, because we might need to bend to do something and we want the spine to bend. Joseph Pilates is very famous for his quote saying, "You're only as young as your spine is mobile." So we need a mobile, flexible spine, but we want to, let's say instead of perfectly straight, we say perfectly aligned. And so then with the various movement modalities I've worked with, there's one where you're consciously holding yourself in a straight, almost stiff alignment, and then you're challenging with gravity, playing a lovely game with gravity. Gravity's great for training. It's not all detrimental. So then it's absolutely true is you need a straight, stiff spine for that particular exercise modality. But then you do something like Pilates or many other movement modalities, and you want a fluid, mobile, articulating spine. So no absolutes, but yeah, I would answer yes to both sides.
No, that's good to know. So with listeners becoming interested in flexibility, improving their posture, what are some initial steps or habits that you could recommend to get us started?
Oh, look, kind of what we've alluded to throughout the discussion. Step one is just think about your body. We used the car analogy before. Everyone understands their tech, understands their car. They don't understand their body. So think about your body. Actually be grateful that it does what it does. So start the day, even if you just do one. If you've got a stiff neck, if you've got a stiff lower back, whatever the tightest area is for you, find the joint mobility movement for that area and just do that every day for a couple of weeks in the morning, and then the corresponding stretch for that area as well. Or if you're here in that work position, make sure you stretch and open through the chest. So you're counterbalancing what you've done all day. And just do one in the morning, one in the evening, create that habit. And then from there, you can start exploring and adding a little bit more and then finding what works. And as your body changes, you'll need to do different things. So A, think about your body. 2, just start with one exercise, one morning joint, one evening stretch. Get out of your shoes. Don't get me started on shoes. That's a whole nother podcast. Get out of your shoes, get into nature. Some people don't even touch a natural surface for their whole entire day and wonder why they're ungrounded and stuck in their head. Get out of your shoes, get onto some grass, even if it's the neighbour's lawn for 5 minutes. Get into sand, even better, because you're usually near the beach if you're in the sand, and you've got all the natural elements there as well, which help cleanse and ground and neutralise the radiation that we're exposed to every day. And then just be mindful of what your vocational requirements are. Is your job actually good for your body? Can you be more mindful of what you're doing when you're doing your job? And then does your exercise counterbalance your job? Or like a lot of people sit, and then I'm Pilates trained as well. I'm not dissing Pilates, but Pilates is forward flexed, legs in the air. You're kind of mimicking that chair shape with some movement. So do we need more of that? You should be doing more extension. You should elongate, get in the water, get out of gravity. There's many things that we can do if we just pause and actually think about our body, what we ask of our body, and then go from there, rather than like, I like that and I'm doing that. It might not be the best thing for your body.
Thank you so much, Donna, for sharing such valuable insights and for joining us today on the show. It's been so great to have you on.
Thank you for having me. As you can tell, I live and breathe this. I love it. I could talk forever on it. So I'm glad we fitted it into the time frame.
Absolutely. And adding those stretch for extra bonus points as well. So thank you again to our listeners for joining us on this episode of Let's Talk Natural Medicine. If you're looking for an accredited practitioner, visit atms.com.au and click Find a Practitioner. And don't forget to sign up for our Friends of Natural Medicine newsletter for wellness tips, exercises, and more. So let's wrap up with some quick wins for posture and mobility. Take breaks from sitting to stretch throughout the day, practice mindful movement, and include gentle stretches as a part of your morning routine and evening routine. Until next time, take care and stay naturally well. Love what you heard today? Then hit the follow button to stay tuned for more deep dives into holistic health and wellness. If you're feeling the positive vibes, leave us a 5-star review. It makes a huge difference in spreading the message of natural medicine far and wide.